On March 19th, 2022, a first-of-its-kind festival was held in Kansas City, Missouri.
Today is Compost Fest.
The event was held at Cultivate KC's Westport Commons Farm.
Cultivate KC, our mission is food, farms, and community.
The Kansas City-based nonprofit teamed up with Missouri Organic Recycling, the largest mulch and compost manufacturer in Kansas City, to make this environmentally educational festival a reality.
So we've been partnering with Cultivate KC at this facility for as long as it's been here. So when they were transitioning from the other facilities that they were at, we decided that they would be a good partner for us to be able to come into this community and help them get started with what their mission was. So it directly relates with Missouri Organic's mission into, educate our youth, feed hungry people. And so we feel like they're a great partner for us because of what they stand for and then what we stand for.
The morning focused on creating the compost pile on the farm with help from Missouri Organic Recycling, Cultivate KC, Marty Kraft, Mark Allen, and some volunteers. In the afternoon, Compost Fest offered entertainment and informational sessions about DIY composting, vermicomposting, bioreactors, and soldier fly larvae. Stan Slaughter of Missouri Organic Recycling, who had provided guidance for some of the Cultivate KC projects, thought Cultivate KC could use some help creating their own compost on site.
He had visited our site many times and noticed that we had an abundance of really great inputs that would make a good compost pile. We just didn't quite have the vision and the tools and the volunteer power to make it happen. So Stan helped us come up with a plan to organize our compost on site. And then Stan being Stan, he decided we should add an educational component as well.
To start this enormous pile, food waste was needed. Missouri Organic Recycling's own VP, Kevin Anderson, directed the building of the pile.
So we got some food waste from Compost Collective. We got some beer, some spent grains from City Bier Company. And of course, all the stuff you see behind me here is leaves and stuff that they collected in the community.
Missouri Organic Recycling provided 8 cubic yards equal to 5 tons of ground up leaves and sticks from their large fall collection that was already composting. The big idea was to demonstrate how to build a medium-scale compost pile, incorporate commercial waste streams, and set up a backyard system for neighborhood food waste composting. After the neighborhood brown bags were ground, Marty Kraft and his 40 HP chipper turned to a large stack of fall weed stalks, tree sprouts, and other yard waste from the farm.
We were chipping up the herbaceous stuff that was out in the field, sunflowers and all kinds of weeds, and then some small trees.
I was helping Marty and Cultivate KC use the chipper to get rid of a lot of the brush and other stuff that grew up over the season. And giving back to the community always feels good.
When all the browns were ready, layers of browns and greens, the food waste from Compost Collective KC, and spent grains from KC Bier Co. were mixed into the pile. Watering made sure the pile started off with enough moisture. Following the creation of the compost pile, the day's events shifted to more of an education day.
We'll have several speakers from around the area coming to provide a range of topics, mostly geared towards what you can do with a home compost pile.
Dan Kroll of Cultivate KC was just one of the presenters for the afternoon, focusing on vermicomposting.
You don't have to save up a bunch of material to make a giant compost pile. You can just add a little bit at a time, and the worms will eat a little bit at a time and reproduce and make really high-quality compost.
Dan also highlighted how you can compost with other species as well.
The second species I was working with is the black soldier fly larva, and it is a maggot of a true fly. The fly itself looks like a little wasp. It's black and shiny, and these are native to the United States, and they are composting masters. Fantastic little creatures, and you can use them to break down huge amounts of food waste, although you probably can't use them in your house like you can the red wigglers.
Marty Kraft was another presenter focusing on a bioreactor he had recently built at the Westport Commons Farm in their high tunnel. A bioreactor is a vessel in which a chemical process is carried out which involves organisms or biochemically active substances derived from such organisms with a focus on fungi. All of these processes, such as composting with worms and black soldier flies and the use of bioreactors, occur naturally.
So nature likes to have a balance, different than when you feed it a bunch of chemicals or you've killed it with the various insecticides, herbicides, fungicides, whatever. That kills the microbes in the soil and certainly kills off some of them more than others, and so you've unbalanced nature, and so you cannot sequester carbon because you've eliminated the folks that would do that.
Before the day ended, we asked those at the festival what one thing you, the viewer, could do to help the environment.
First thing you got to do is you got to think about what you're buying and try not to waste as much to start off with. That's the most important thing.
Shop local. I would say hands down, get out there, meet your farmers, and buy their products.
We try to force nature. If we just learn what she does and how she does it, and then and be more subservient to it. I like to say that I'm not a gardener. I am trying to serve the microbes who are the real gardeners. And so that means maybe doing less is better.
Compost, start it. Even if it's not a compost collective bucket, get yourself a bucket and just see how easy it is not to throw that in the landfill.
One little thing you can do is, when you're chopping up your vegetables and you have the trimmings, you can compost those. And right in your own, you don't even need you can do that in an apartment with a vermiculture, worms. And, keep that stuff out of the landfill and keep those greenhouse gases down.
The number one thing would be go to your farmer's market as often as you can and buy as much food as you can. Look that farmer in the face and thank them for the work they're doing.
I just have to have faith that I can do my tiny little piece. And then if other people do their tiny little piece, if we all do our tiny little piece, we can fix this thing,